Jananam sukadham maranam karunam milanam maduram smaranam karunam kalavashadiha sakalam karunam samayadipate akilam karunam. Namaskaram. Whoever that is, if you flirt like that, nobody will respond. Oh, 12 months of flirtation. In the 8 limbs of yoga, what is known as Ashtanga Yoga, the last three limbs are dharana, dhyana and samadhi. If you have to give it this is if you approach with your awareness, there is dharana, there is dhyana and there is samadhi. The same aspects, if you approach it emotionally, there is flirtation, there is a love affair and there is devotion. What are these 3 different things? Dharana means there are 2 and there is an active interaction. It's flirtation. When you flirt, you have to be careful what you say, what your body language is, how you sit, how you stand. Everything has to be measured, controlled, careful. Because one wrong move, it's over. And it generally gets over, generally it's brief, because inevitably somebody will do one wrong step and it'll be over. A love affair means, in the very nature of things, it's more enduring and less conditions, less rules. And it's like dhyana, one has dissolved into the other or the other has dissolved into this one, whichever way, what was 2 has become in some way 1. If that happens on the emotional level, we say it's love. Dhyana also means to become vulnerable. The same is true with a love affair. You're becoming vulnerable. There is no safety because you become vulnerable, completely available. You are at the discretion of another. So, There is the joy of union, but there is a pain of somebody walking all over you. Many things. Most lovers are blissful, generally only in the beginning. After that, it's a very aching joy, painful in many ways. Devotion means, or samadhi means, both have dissolved. The same is true with devotion. Both dissolving does not mean, okay, you dissolve, let me see what I can do. Because the basis of your life's experience is you. The basis of everything that you are is you, not the other. If you dissolve this, everything has dissolved. If the fundamental of your experience of who I am is dissolved, everything is dissolved, the other is also gone. Everything has become one. Suddenly, when people move from love to devotion, you will see they're just crazy. You see a lot of crazies here. Even if you put them to work 7 days of the week, day and night, they're still happy. Anywhere else in the world, if you give them 1 hour of extra work, they will become miserable. Here there are lots of crazies. If you give them 20 hours a day, 7 days of the week, they're still happy. This is the nature of devotion. Outside will not determine who you are anymore. Transactions of life will not determine what you are. What you are is beyond transactions. So, 12 months of flirtation is enough. It must end. No, I was not flirting with you, I am devoted to you, my whole bloody life is about you. What to do? It's you flirting with me. Time to either drop the flirtation or move to the next stages of life, which are maybe more risky, but more profound. Profoundness of life will not come without risking the surface. When I say risking the surface, this is the nature of life. If you're sitting here in this satsang, 7 o'clock you should have been eating your meal. No meal, it'll come later. This is the nature of life. If you're here, you're not there. If you're there, you're not here. If you're doing this, you're not doing that. If you're doing that, you're not doing this. This is the nature of life. So, I would suggest we disengage this flirtatious no mode and get into something deeper or close this affair. One way or the other is fine with me. Because as far as I'm concerned, whether I know you or not know you, whether I've seen your face or not seen it, I'm devoted. So everything is wonderful with me. This is the nature of a devotee. He doesn't care what happens to his God. He's just devoted and he's… So this is the time of the year that this day is called Thaipusam, or it is also called as the Dhanya Paurnami. Dhanya means a fulfilled one. This is referred to as the most generous of all the full moons in the year. What does generosity mean? That means it is capable of yielding maximum results. That is generosity of the universe or nature. When the relationship of planet's movement shifts from the southern run of the sun to the northern run, which is called as Uttarayana, many possibilities open up. So this is the first full moon, most, in terms of harvest, the best time. During the last month of transition, everything a little slowed down. Nature has slowed down. In India, no farmer will plant a seed during that season because life has slowed down. That's not a time to plant. In Tamil Nadu, still it is practiced that the newly married couple are never allowed to stay together in the Margali month because they don't want conception to happen at that time, because what sprouts will not sprout the way it should. So this is Thaipusam or Dhanya Paurnami. This has been a blessed day where many yogis have consciously shed their body. The nature of the earth and its moods has many impacts on the human system. Whatever happens to the planet happens in a magnified way within the human system because of the many manifestations of the earth or of the many manifestations of the soil, which is life on this planet. The living soil manifests itself in many ways, from a microbe to a worm, to an insect, to a bird, to an animal, to a tree, variety of things. Of all these things, human being is the most sensitive. I'm talking about a human being, not mental cases. A human being is the most evolved product of this earth. So whatever changes that are happening in the living earth, particularly in the living soil, happens in a much more magnified way within the living human being. But because most human beings have become psychological cases, non-stop, this is happening all the time, they don't notice a thing. On this day, in this culture, all the farmers take 9 varieties of seeds and plant it in a pot to check the strength of the seed. Because if you planted this 15 days ago, it wouldn't sprout very well. This is just the time when it begins. They want to test the strength of the seed so that when they have to really plant it in the soil, they know which seed is good, which is not. So 9 varieties of seeds are planted in a single pot, which is referred to as Mulaipari, which is a very important part of this Shankaranti or Pongal as it is called. So, in the northern hemisphere particularly, from here on, life gets into exuberant states. Human beings also do without knowing, but if they're conscious, it will happen in a wonderful way. So Uttarayana is known as Kaivalya Pada in yoga, that means time for harvest. Dakshinayana, as you know, is called Sadhana Pada, which you're suffering, I believe. Hey, look at this. So now it's time for harvest. Yeah. Only those who have farmed well will harvest. So, Sadhguru, Thaipusam, nothing happened to me. You heard of that great old man in the Indian traditions, Bhishma. His body was mutilated, they say with some 100 arrows or something, but he held on because he did not want to die in the Dakshinayana, he wants to die in Uttarayana. That is how important it is. Now, this happened, you know. Shankaran Pillai applied for a job. I was about to say he applied for Sadhanapada, but he applied for a job. So, I interviewed him and Shankaran Pillai said, "Sir, I must get this job." The interviewer looked at all his credentials and then spoke to him and then said, "I don't think we are giving this job to you, there is another candidate who may get this job." "Why, sir, I must get this job. I am most qualified for this job." The interviewer said, "See, the other candidate, she has a PhD and her IQ is 148 and she has experience in this field. So why should you get it?" He said, "I am fully qualified, sir. You must understand that this job does not need that level of intelligence." So, for something to happen to you, you don't have to grow a halo around your head, nor come with some special birth, whatever, you know, you landed from somewhere or you fell from the sky, nothing like this, you can be normal birth. You just have to be human. Human means… the word human itself comes from the word humus. Human means you're part of this. Your life is not just here, your life is everywhere. Your life is not limited to the framework of your body. If you do not understand this, close your mouth, hold your nose like this for 2 minutes, you will understand the life is not limited to the framework of your body, nor to the framework of your silly mind. Life is happening in a much larger way. So if you're here as life, things will happen. When things happen to the planet, it will happen to you manifold over because you are the most sensitive part of this planet. I'm telling you, you are actually far more sensitive than a beautiful flower. You are. But factory, there's a diarrhea factory going on here. Because of that, you don't feel anything. I hope this 6 months of Sadhanapada has quietened the factory a little bit, at least there are weekend curfews. At least this coronavirus time, you must slow down the activity here. No, if you have nothing to do with your hands, this will go crazy. Apart from the virus pandemic, they're talking about mental pandemic because people are not able to contain their mental diarrhea. This is why sadhana. Sadhana means, right now, if your hands are your tools, they must do precisely what you want them to do. If they what to do with these hands? Similarly, if your mind is a tool, it must do precisely what you want it to do. It's all over the place. What do you do with that? Mess. See, this is the time Maharshi Sankaranti is there and everybody in India are doing rangoli, all the geometric patterns that they're doing. Suppose your hands are like this, what rangoli? You go and see the village ladies, they're without looking at a paper or anything, they're doing elaborate geometrical patterns just like that. At one time when I was about 19 years of age, when just about my father was giving up on me, of me being a medical doctor. Because if you don't get in by 18, he was hoping at least by 19 I will get into the military medical academy, because there was a quota for me which would allow me to get into that. When I refused that also and my age passed that, when he was sort of giving up on his aspirations of me being a doctor, then my family, my extended families were seriously involved in silk industry, weaving, dyeing, printing, all kinds of things. Bangalore, Mysore being the center of silk industry in the country, they sent me to Bangalore, just go and have a look, you may like it. So I went, okay, what is there? I'm willing to look at everything. So I went there to see a silk weaving place, hand-woven stuff. I went there and this illiterate-looking guy, and he's illiterate, he's doing I'm like, I'm supposed to have very keen sense of eyes, I can see even in darkness. I just sit there trying to figure out what is he doing. And as he's doing this, simply a flower appears on the weave. I just look at this, how the hell did this flower happen? And then something else appears, a peacock appears, a parrot appears, and all he's doing like this. There is not even a printed design anywhere. There's no paper, there's no computer, there is no nothing. This guy just does this, simply, perfect geometry. Flowers appear where they have to appear, parrots appear where they have to appear, absolutely correct. I thought, okay, I'm not smart enough for this one. No, they were not asking me to become a weaver, they were thinking of me getting into the business. So I'm saying, thought is not the only intelligence. Thought is a rudimentary intelligence, because it is absolutely dependent upon the limited data that you have gathered. You take the same data and throw it in different ways. It is like, any of you make your own kaleidoscope when you were young? 3 pieces of mirror and a few, break somebody's bangles and put it inside, and what designs! But the same 25 pieces of bangles produces any number of designs. This is all you're doing with thought. You have a few pieces, with that permutations and combinations you manufacture and you think you're going into newer and newer dimensions of life. No, you're just recycling the same thing. Recycling is good when it comes to anything physical, because all physical aspects of life, all are limited. Best to recycle everything that's physical. But you're a human being means you're something more than the physical. This dimension need not be recycled. This must be always stepping into something new every moment of your life. It must be stepping into something new. If you recycle, that means you become a stagnant life. Once you stagnate, you will stink. This is why most people, when they were children, they were like this. Nothing wrong with their lives. Everything is fine, I can see they've eaten well. But because stagnation, nothing is happening new. You must understand, doing the same things over is never going to fulfill this. Today is Dhanya Paurnami. That means a full moon of fulfillment. Fulfillment will happen to you not because you reach some peak and there's no other place to go. Fulfillment will happen to you because you're constantly stepping into new territory all the time. Fulfillment, the word fulfillment should not be misunderstood. Maybe in English language, it is evoking a wrong connotation. Dhanya means full or fulfillment. There's no other word. Dhanya means, that doesn't mean you've hit the ceiling and that's where you are. It simply means you have become borderless, you have become boundless. You're constantly evolving. Because of this, you're fulfilled. Not because you reached a certain size and you stopped there. To stop physical growth is very important. Yes, everything physical has to be limited. That is the nature of physicality. We must understand and respond to it accordingly. When I say physical, I'm not just talking about your body. Everything that you handle is physical. Always keeping it to the minimum and recycling it is very sensible. But when it comes to consciousness, it's not a recycle. It is a constant exploration, constantly stepping into new terrain on a daily basis. Moment to moment, you must be stepping into new terrain. Then you're fulfilled. You want to meditate? What about her? She will scream. Please sit down, cross-legged. Keep your hands open, facing upward, slightly upturned face, eyes closed. Please close your eyes. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, relax yourself. Take one more deep breath, and as you exhale, relax even more. Take another deep breath. With this exhalation, relax totally. Gently inhale with your mouth open. Close your mouth and exhale through your nostrils. Inhale with your mouth open gently and then exhale through your nostrils. Close your mouth and exhale through your nostrils. Inhalation with your mouth open, exhalation, mouth closed through the nostrils. Continue to do that. Inhale with your mouth open, exhale through the nostrils.